All right. Hi, everyone. This is Shannon Port, and I am going live today on Friday the 13th. And so, all right, I just got my notification. So it looks like they're going out, and I'll give it a minute for a couple people to come on. So I'm back on Friday the 13th, like I promised. And today we are going to be looking at some really, some of the profound inner alchemy and transmutation that the human race is going through right now. And so nice to see you. Nice to see you. Oh, beautiful. The moon is conjunct my sun. All right. So it took me about an hour to get on today. I have to admit, my power was out. And so, how funny is it that my power went out? Scorpio is the sign of power. And I went to go live about an hour ago, and I've been holding off and waiting for it to come on. It just came on. So I'm kind of collecting myself. And really, really happy to be here. We have the nice to see you. We have the Scorpio new supermoon happening on November 15th. Today is Friday the 13th. Friday the 3rd, this is the Goddess Report. And I want to say a little bit about the Goddess Report. We have a lot to talk about. This is a profound time for the transmutation of our beautiful human shadow and the inner alchemy that we're doing. The Goddess Report is based on a body of work I call the Divine Feminine Wisdom. And this is truly a time that we're coming together as a humanity to learn how to love each other a little bit more and to learn how we can relate to the material world by understanding the power that each one of us holds within our heart and within our own creative vessel. In fact, this is a time that we are building the vessel that I call the body of light to really be the container to hold the full potential of wisdom and power of our creative abilities as a soul in matter. And so, how about this? We'll take just a moment to center, and then I'm going to go into the wisdom. And I have a lot to share because starting next week, I'm going to be coming on a lot more often. And I'm going to share a little bit about that. So we'll just take a moment. In fact, it's been requested. I've been asked if before I begin to talk and just kind of stream things in, that we take a moment to center and ask to call it in. So we'll do that right now. I'm going to ask you to I oftentimes use this mudra, the diamond mudra in front of my heart, and we're just going to call upon the inner light that's buried in that scorpionic underworld and ask it to quicken and begin to vivify our field so that we're harmonizing the inner and outer realities and building a bridge so that we can understand their relationship. And so just taking a moment, this is very simple and quick, but we're going to invoke the power of I am, as Mars stations direct today in Aries, is the power of I am into our auric field in the 7 directions. And so just repeating after me. I am before me. I am behind me. I am at my left. I am at my right. I am above me. I am below me. I am unto me. And just now begin to take a really deep breath in. Breathe in as deeply as you can and then hold your breath for just a moment. When we hold the breath intentionally, we activate the inner plane, which could be said to be the plane of the underworld in Scorpio, the subconscious. Just making an intention to link with your wisdom, your power, and your love, and then exhaling all your breath out. And we'll activate the divine plane, the spiritual plane, and the physical plane by saying, I am, I am. I know I am. I am, I am. I know I am. And so we'll just take a moment to send out blessings to all beings on the planet. And I mean every single being on this planet, every single animal, every single human being, whatever other beings might be here with us. We take a moment to send out love. I want to really say that my intention as we work through, I'm going to be on a lot in the next couple months as we're moving up to a new archetype in the year 2021. And there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of planetary activation that is happening. And so it's our intention to gather people up. My intention on this platform is to call forth unity and understanding of our uniqueness and our relationship to one another. There's a lot of fear in the world right now because there's a lot of change. Scorpio is about that change. And so I'll start by saying this. Taurus, we had the Taurus full supermoon that was really powerful. It was conjunct Uranus, and it was a shaker for the planet. We are, nice to see you. We are now in Scorpio. It's polar opposite. So Scorpio represents, and this is about our inner alchemy. So when I'm working with the Sofia astro codes. So when we're talking about the archetypes, we're talking about how we can alchemize them within us. So Scorpio is our power, and it's linked to our sexuality. It's linked to our power to vision the world that we see and to decode the world that we see. When we do not have personal power, we are much more likely to fall into fear and to misread the outer world and to give the outer world all the power and forget we abandon ourselves and the inner power that we have. When we have cultivated that power by transmuting our own shadow, by doing the inner work, and by really, it's deep work and it's a long journey, but when we do it, we understand who we are and we start to become unshakable. And when we're unshakable, we're actually able to be more kind and more compassionate because we realize, and I was talking to one of my clients, most treasured clients yesterday about, she asked me, she said, I notice that sometimes when certain energies come at you, there's you're able to remain graceful. And I thought about it and I knew what she was talking about, but when I'm really working, there's another energy that's holding that space and that takes care of the balance and that neutralizes anything that might be an attack in order that the higher love can rise up. And this is something that we're all learning because we all have been traumatized and we all feel threatened and we all have human emotions. Scorpio is the deep, it's the deepest emotional body in the archetypes. It's our deep wound that we carry. When you think of Scorpio, Scorpio carries the wound. And so does Pisces and Cancer, the water signs especially, but Scorpio is where we sabotage ourselves because where we have self-hate or self-shame, where we know we have all this power, but we still feel a lot of shame around our own dark and our own shadow. So we might hurt ourselves. Scorpios are oftentimes hold more judgment. Scorpio is judgment in the arcana, or Pluto is judgment, but we hold that deep, deep punishment of ourselves. Scorpio is the underworld and it's Hades, and it can represent the hell realms of our subconscious mind when we have that self shame, or that self-loathing, and it's harder for us to show up fully in a relationship before we love ourselves. And that's what we're all learning. So this isn't about being perfect, but it's about doing the alchemy that we get to own our power to love again. When Scorpios heal, well, first of all, Scorpios are super, super powerful beings. They naturally have power even before they've healed. But when we claim that power, we can then love freely and hold that space that I was talking about, where we don't necessarily have to take the arrows personally. It's not about arrogance or aloofness or being detached, but it's about understanding. It's the mother consciousness. It's like the mother. Sometimes when you're a mother, you have to take it from your children, and you still love, even though your kids might be having a bad day or be going through hormonal changes and acting out towards you and discovering who they are. You're not going to fall apart. Because that love it's that mother love. And so, all right, let me see if there's anything else I want to say about Scorpio before I go into this. Oh, I know. So Taurus represents how we feel secure in the outer world. It's more of our materialistic side, which is absolutely beautiful. I have my sun in Taurus, and deep, deep appreciation for the Taurus energy and the goddess in Taurus. Taurus is the Christic light in nature. It's the atomic light. It's the light that's buried in matter and that's vibrating behind that. And right now we have Uranus in Taurus, which is really shaking that matter and causing an awakening for the next many years. But Scorpio is the inner light, represents the inner light buried within us. And sometimes, and this is what the planet is going through, sometimes in order to understand who we really are, we have the outer comforts and coziness and the material things stripped away from us so that we can realize what we're made of and who we are. So there's periods in the cycle where everything that we cherished on the outside during our initiations and our growth and our alchemy may be temporarily taken from us, or the emphasis may be less on the outer and more on the inner. Human beings tend to not want to go inward unless there's a crisis. And so Scorpio also represents crisis. It's when there's a crisis, we tend to automatically tune back in. If you can think about your life when something went wrong, or when there was a tragedy, or when you were hurt. When we're hurt even by others, first we get angry, but then it makes us really stop and think and pause and begin to look inward towards ourselves. So I'm just going to take a moment here, and I'm going to look and see if there's anyone. First of all, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you. I had to postpone one of my clients, and it's nice to see she's here because I had the power outage this morning, which is hilarious with Scorpio. Okay, I will be checking down, and if there's any questions, feel free to bring them in. I want to say this. Next week, I'm going to be on much more often, and this is what my intention is. So as you know, my work, I have 20 years of a well of wisdom in the feminine. Now I want to say it's not only for women, obviously, we know that, but this is about awakening our creative power. It's about healing. It's about activating the mother consciousness. It's about the transmutation. It's about bringing in the voice of the goddess onto the planet. That's what I've been known that I've been being prepared for, to bring my work into the world in an even greater capacity at this time, to hold space as we make our way through this transition. And we all know there's massive things happening right now in the world. But so make sure to check back next week. I'm going to be on more frequently. So we are evolving, and it's time to go to the next level of consciousness, to integrate the power of love, and to awaken our vision, our true vision, which is Scorpio, and to awaken our heart center and the mother consciousness. Number 13, it's Friday the 13th, stands for the mother and stands for the divine feminine consciousness. There's many correspondences. Friday the 13th as an archetype represents the attack on the Templars. There's other meanings as well. It has to do with the Last Supper as well, but it could really be seen as the attack on innocence and the attack on the Grail within. It's the attack on the sacred knowledge. 13 is also related to the mother of Binah, vision on the tree of life, and the mother, the consciousness of birthing that vision and creating the world through our creative imagination. And so the Friday the 13th could be considered an attack on our sovereignty to go inward and claim. I call it the reclamation of the goddess. And so it's also a reminder, though, of the regeneration, the rebirth, the alchemy, the transmutation that we are doing as souls. And so the positive side of that is that it's a reminder every time we have a Friday the 13th, it reminds us of who we really are. And that's what this work is about right now. It just to take a quick drop in of what's happening on the planet. So I'm in the United States, and all eyes have been on the US for the past few weeks, and really for the past many years. But there is a we're trying to heal a great polarity, and so there's a lot of activity around leadership and around what the way things are unfolding in the country that I live in. All of this is part of our evolution, and it's part of our waking up. So we're welcome to take part in whatever it is we feel in the outer world as part of our journey. Whatever is resonant with us, and we feel empowered to be a part of that voice, but we cannot lose sight of the inner wisdom. And sometimes it can be more appropriate to stand back and take a look at what we really are, and how much power we're giving to this outer platform. That's really, there's always an evolution where different things are naturally coming in to try to balance things out. But the true power is always within us. And so I invite you, and on this platform, invite you to just connect with who you really are and your creative power, and begin to love people regardless of what they believe. Because a lot of people are caught in the matrix right now and feel super charged that their beliefs are the only beliefs. And the fact is that I've talked about this. The right needs the left, the masculine needs the feminine, the mind needs the heart, the inner needs the outer. We all need each other right now. I'm going to take a look down and see if there's anything that anyone wants to bring in right now. I'll go into a little bit more about Scorpio and the Sofia astrology, and then we'll see if there's what's the most important thing we want to talk about right now. It's really nice to see you. Oh, it's so nice to see some faces of people I love so much. All right. So I don't see anything right now, but feel free. I'll stay on for a little bit longer. So 13, Mars is direct today on Friday the 13th. That's a reclamation of our power in the sign of Aries. We are really right now in pursuit of higher love and higher intelligence and wisdom on the planet. Regardless of what we go through, there's no need to lose faith or to lose hope. The outer world, this is what I'm noticing. I'm going to say this because I'm noticing it more than ever these days. When I see, like when I go through a social media stream, what's it called? Feed. And I see all the ads. It's almost like empty, vapid shells of, and there's also obviously all human souls are sacred energy, and I see that too. But meaning that when you can see the program running through, the way people are acting and projecting, and just everyone's kind of doing the same thing over and over and over. And so you can see the unconscious aspect that's plugged into the AI matrix, and that's starting to become more and more of a generated image that's being it's being controlled and programmed. And so we have a choice right now, and I call this the technology of the goddess, to tune into our own organic technology, or to go further and further into this the technology that's coming from the outer. Now there's going to have to be a reconciling, and we can't fight that evolution. That evolution is destined to happen. It's happened before. But we can pause and just ask ourselves, is this heart energy, is this real connection? One of the greatest breakdowns of the human race right now is coming through technology. Technology connects us, but it also is breaking down. It's putting a shield around the heart and the mind that blocks us from having just a simple organic connection with other human beings. And so there's an impulse coming from the galactic core and beyond that which reminds me of something I need to say, that's coming from beyond. And every certain at every certain places in the cycle, we get sent an impulse to awaken. That impulse is on right now. And it's asking us to remember and not lose the goddess within. The goddess in the underworld is when the goddess is held captive, and her energy is used only to fuel the five senses, which are represented with Taurus. When we only are plugged into a sensual reality that just wants to taste and have pleasure, and we become consumed with it, and we just want more and more and more until we're like, completely overtaken with the outer world. It's like a balloon that's getting ready to pop. We've been so filled up with it. All of a sudden, we're reminded not to let go and go all the way into it. Once we go all the way into it, we give up our sovereignty. And so, I'm just going to take a moment. The things that connect us to remind us what it is to be the organic creator, the soul of the world, our auric field, and that vessel that holds the divine technology and intelligence, are when we feel love and a genuine connection with another human being. And so or an animal, or a love of our work, or a sacred love in a relationship, or the love of our children, or our parents, or even people. This is a higher level, but we even can experience it with strangers. And as we awaken, you can feel, this reminds me of something my son said when he was very, very little, you can feel when someone needs some love. This is unconditional love that we're awakening, and you just send it to them. You just say something kind to them when you're out in public. When you're interacting with them, you don't have to go on a mission to find people. But when people come into our sphere, we have an opportunity to be the God consciousness, the goddess consciousness. And this is something really special my son said when he's 15 now, but when he was 5 years old, I was driving him to kindergarten, and he was profound. As a young child, he used to say really deep things all the time. He said, Mommy, he's like, my heart is pulsing. And I look back, he was in his car seat. And he said, my heart opens up. He said, angels go out of my heart. He said, sometimes when people walk by, they need something, and the angels in my heart open up and they fly out to them and they help them. And he said, it's my heart chakra. And this just came through him. I had nothing to do with like teaching him this or anything, and he had that kind of effect on people as a kid. People would walk by and stop and look, and there was an energy, but he felt it and he knew it. We all have that. And think about the world we're living in, and think about the possibility of that world. Think of it's a world of difference. Instead of feeling captive to any kind of political ideology or agenda. We know that we are the creators of it. The outer world is just a mirror of the collective consciousness. But we also each generate our own program, and we start to connect with other people who are holding a similar frequency as we are, as we awaken. And it's a fluid dance. It's a dance. It's musical. It's music. And so we're going to be talking about all of these are the Sofia codes, and they're the Sofia astro codes, and these are what we are bringing in as we do this alchemy. Astrology, I don't necessarily look at astrology to see what's happening tomorrow, or when I'm going to do this or have this, or when this, when is the best time for this. Although it's very valid that way, but the alchemy that we do with integration of the archetypes and understanding our full creative vessel is priceless. That opens up a channel, and Scorpio is about power and regeneration, healing our sexuality. And I want to mention that in just a moment. So just taking a look down. Angels. Oh, we used to sing the angel song. Oh, children are precious. And okay, I want to say this too. All of us are unique, and all of us have a different orientation towards life, towards love, towards sexuality, towards creativity, towards money, towards art, science, whatever it is, towards family. And we are all meant to express what is organically coming through us. And that's another place where astrology is very, very powerful. We can see the sort of the matrix that our five elemental forces are being channeled through in every lifetime, and make sense of it in a way that can sometimes be a real asset. But when we are connected to the Scorpio power, and when we understand the Taurus five senses and sensuality in the material world and what it's really for, we start to speak a universal language. And so even though we have our differences, and we do have our differences, our ears, we open. Taurus is inner hearing. It's the Hierophant, and it's the ability to hear truth. Scorpio is inner vision in the dark. And so it allows us to see through the underworld, and it allows us to understand what it means to merge with another human being. It's about sexuality, and it's about, we understand what really happens when we merge with another human being, because it's a very sacred act. And we wouldn't know it much by the way it's used in the outer to kind of continuously stimulate those five senses and bring up the animal desires and make us want to merge. But it's a highly sacred act, and it's very personal for every human being. But regardless of what we're attracted to, what our sexual journey is, and what our creative journey is, whether we're very simple and we don't care much for money, we just want a simple life, or whether we're here to really cultivate power in the financial or in the material world, it won't matter. When we awaken to and understand who we really are, we begin to make music with the people around us. We're not worried about trying to make everyone else be like us. We know that we have a very sacred note to sound, and we revel and enjoy the symphony of life and people's differences. There's still basic archetypes that hold the creation in place, and that's what we call the wisdom. The wisdom is very important because there is a universal wisdom about how creation works, and we'll go into that more later. Sacred marriage, yeah, yes, the clairvoyance, clairaudience, being able to hear and see within. We call it spiritual hearing and spiritual sight. So now is the time for the rebirth of the Mother's sacred codes of wisdom and love, and that is what we will be looking at on this platform with the Goddess Report and the future podcasts that we're going to be opening up. And So regardless of what happens, I invite you to celebrate the divine within you. It's the true reality, and know that we can bring that to the outer world, and help raise the consciousness. All of this, human beings started in a different place, and we're being evolved through the power of the sun, the galactic core, the great central sun. All of these are archetypes for higher consciousness. We're bringing the soul energy out of its kind of addiction and its delusion and its hypnotic trance of the five lower senses, and we're merging them with the higher senses, so that we just have a greater reality. And this is the work we're doing. So Taurus represents our sensuality, and Venus, and there's the Venus codes we'll be looking at a lot too. The light in nature, the atomic power, and Scorpio is the true light. The Hebrew letter is Nun, and it represents the potency buried within our mind, and buried within the earth. And that potency is necessary for us to really, really decode reality. And trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Silence. I jotted down silence. There's something very sacred about the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is also silence. Bina, the dark light. And so there's a power in not needing to be busy all the time, or talking all the time, or wanting validation all the time, or needing to be seen by the outer world all the time. There's a deep knowing. I was talking about this with my client yesterday. When you know who you are, and the silence will be the way that you recharge, and that the way you know your power. The greatest power of the Divine Mother is actually silence, because when we know silence, the words that arise out of this, it has to do with the sign Cancer, are so much more powerful. They're not coming from chaos and noise and programming. They rise up from the deep, deep, deep well, and their potency creates our world. So one of the great reasons to connect with silence and stillness within is that you will become a more powerful manifester and creator and projector of her vision. I know even myself, when I get caught up, and even, with everything that was happening the past 2 weeks in the US, I was definitely tuned in, and there were moments of, there's just so much going on right now. But instantly I noticed all the power goes out and gets used. The matrix uses that. The dark force uses that emotional body energy, and it helps to create a denser matrix. It's great to see what's happening. It's excellent to see what's happening. And speaking of, I'm gonna have my little angel calling me right now. But at the same time, don't lose the connection to the Divine Mother within you, because this is all going to work out. And that's what these podcasts are going to be about. We're going to take us right through up to 2021 and enter into this new archetype, and go through this time. This is a time of, we're being seeded with wisdom. Wisdom arises out of silence. So I wanted to say that about silence. Honor diversity. This is the thing I want to say about diversity also. There's a lot of people speaking out for the pain and suffering of all the different identities. Very, very, very valid. It's a human level. It's a personality level. It's meant to happen. But when you start to celebrate who you are, regardless, I've been different my whole life. I've been so far out in left field my whole life, even though a lot of the time I looked normal. I had gifts and talents in certain areas, so that I was honored in certain areas. But my consciousness was always so far out from anyone I was around, that I was completely in my own world most of my life, and had to go through a lot of suffering and isolation and inner pain for that. but gradually begin to celebrate what it was that was cultivating and being birthed within me. And so everyone, it doesn't matter how different you are, you don't need the outer world to recognize every little thing about you. If I would have needed that, I would have never birthed the hundreds of volumes of work that was able to come in through just saying, okay, I will accept how much I'm seen, but I will vow to see myself, listen to the Divine Mother within, ask her, how am I meant to serve? Why was I given these gifts? Why was I given this time alone? Why was I given this pure channel to keep purifying, keep doing the alchemy when it was hardest, when I thought I was dying over and over and over, to keep going? And it's because we are here to sound our note. This isn't about like accepting, bad behavior towards yourself, but it's about seeing it clearly and finding our power within so that we can do what we're here to do and being excited about. It's like a secret. It's like when I go out, in the past many, many years, there was a time where I wondered if people knew who I was or what I did. Never did. So now I go out and I know that nobody has a clue nobody even in where I live has any idea what I do at all. That people don't see that, but it doesn't matter. I have an inner joy because I know what's happening. I can see beyond the matrix and see beyond what's really happening right now. And as you see it, you get more and more and more connected, more powerful, and you feel more love in your heart. And that's where our uniqueness is truly, truly our gift. And we start to harmonize with other people. So, all right, I was in my own world too, actually still in my own world. A lot of us are, and it's okay. Don't let the dark forces hold you there though. And because when we go into the lower side of Scorpio and we hate ourselves, we're judging others, Pluto, it's very, very painful and our vibration goes lower. And I still have to be really vigilant about that. And sometimes during an alchemical process that can happen, but yeah, tap into the silence we just talked about, and you're gonna find your rhythm. You're gonna find your rhythm. All right, I'm just gonna see if there's anything else I meant to say right now. The collective is we're going through the collective shadow right now, and that's why things are so uncertain and unclear. There is we'll talk a little bit about the occult. So Scorpio rules the occult wisdom and sexuality and the dark forces and all of that, the misuse of power as well. So there is an occult wisdom on the planet, and there has always been a dark force. In polarity, it's always been the dark and the light. That's the way it is. And there's the light, and then there's the higher light. The goddess Alchemy is the higher light. It may seem like it's slower, but it's steady. The dark forces, or whatever you want to call it, the magic that's trying to voodoo the planet, is very powerful and very, very real. And we don't have to give too much attention to it because it's always been here and it's going to keep increasing and it gets intense results. But the thing is that it's always trumped and higher. The steady alchemy of the goddess is always the truth and is always the integration of the dark and the light, and the integration of spirit and science, the integration of our inner masculine and feminine. This is the truth, and it's always about love and unity and the evolution through grace and beauty and compassion, real power, real wisdom. You cannot go wrong, even if it looks like there's a setback. Balance your emotional body. Scorpio is about the emotional body. So you want to really, your power is in harnessing your own emotions and using them for good rather than fear. We need a jolt of fear now and then to wake up. And we're getting a jolt of fear to wake up on the planet, but we don't need to, there's a reworking of it to have power. And that's what we need to do right now. That's what this is all about. Okay, just to say the new moon, absolutely. The new moon is at 23 degrees with the sun, sextile to Pluto and Jupiter, who just had an exact conjunction on, I think, November 11th, 12th. And also Saturn's in there. And so it's a really positive energy, activating power. Venus is in an exact square. Venus in Libra, exact square with Pluto and Jupiter. This is power. This is the goddess. If anything, Venus squaring these is really bringing on goddess power. And awakening, and then we have Mars stationing direct, Uranus and Taurus, all of those things. But this is a powerful new moon. The transmission for this video is, let's take 1 minute in the transmission. The alchemy, the inner alchemy and transmutation is to go into the silence and claim my real power, to transmute my emotions so that they are in service of the divine will, the divine wisdom, the divine light, the divine love. To understand what it is to merge within myself with the divine, so that I feel whole and complete, and so that all my portals of power are open and linked up to the galactic center and womb of the Divine Mother and all her correspondences throughout the cosmos. That I am to use my sexuality in the most beautiful way in service of love and wisdom. That I am to awaken divine wisdom and vision to decode this reality in truth, and my very act of doing so will change the world. In this transmission, I am not afraid of anything, for when I face my own inner shadow, it is revealed to me my own inner light. I have a secret, and Scorpio rules secrets. My secret is that I'm awake and that I'm an emissary of divine love on this planet, and that I speak from the power of the goddess, which is really the truth of creation, the Prakriti and the Saguna Brahman, the emanation into matter, that divine spirit of the absolute source of divine love. I also activate my own contract with the divine. Contracts are Scorpio as well, power and contracts, the 8th house, so that I am in service and that I give my power over to nobody. I unify with those who are in harmony and bring my energies into alignment in a way that is powerful and healing. Scorpio is also healing, soul healing. On this planet Earth, I fear none. I have nothing to fear. I am the truth and the life and the light. I am, I am. I know I am. I am, I am, I know I am. I am, I am, I know. All right, so beautiful to be here with you today. It was it's kind of a rough start for me this morning. I wasn't sure if I'd get on, but it's really beautiful to be here with you today. I will be back soon. I'm going to be doing really, really exciting work on the channel. So I invite you guys to subscribe. Please like the video. If you've enjoyed the content, I would very much appreciate it. I always come back and look at comments. You can't make comments now, but if you come back, I love to hear from you, especially the powerful transmutations and alchemies that are happening in your life. I forgot to say this, but there was a lot of people who had written to me about doing the Galactic Core Code session, and I haven't returned some emails just because of everything that's going on, but I plan to get back to you soon. And if you're interested in that, I'm going to be posting a link. I will do that eventually, but you can still find a way to contact me if you want to do that. And that being said, I wish you a sacred Friday the 13th. May you uncover the true wisdom of this archetype. And I'll take one more peek down. Angel hugs to you. Oh, yeah. And yes, the weeks to come. Oh, I can't wait to be here. I'm super excited to be back next week. Okay, that's it for now. I send you love and blessings, and bring love into the world. Cultivate your own power within and bring your love into the world. Amen, amen, amen. I will see you next time.